If you've ever been ghosted after going through all of the hard work of creating a proposal and sending it to the client, or maybe you just got off an incredible call with a freelance client and they're like, great, send me a proposal. And you're like, what do I do? This video is for you. I'm going to share with you exactly how to write a freelance proposal, one that grabs attention, sells the client on you, and helps you land that gig. You're going to learn exactly what to include, when to send the proposal, and make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to show you a real life proposal that got me hired by a SaaS company to write their ads for them. So what is a proposal in the freelance world? Simply put, it is a persuasive document that you're going to send to potential clients that outlines the scope of work, the timeline, and further sells them on why you're a good fit for the gig. Now, let's talk timeline. This is crucial, right? Because there's a lot of advice online saying that you have to get a yes from the client. You have to at least get on a phone call with the client before you send your proposal. Now, there's a lot of different ways to go about this. It's going to depend on your situation, what type of freelance work you're doing, and what the norms are in your industry. As a copywriter and a marketer, I can just tell you that what I typically do is send a proposal after I've gotten on a discovery call with the client and I've gotten a verbal agreement from them that they are interested in working with me and move the sales process along. Another strategy you could try in your client acquisition efforts is to send a personalized proposal to a client that you'd really love to work for. It's kind of a power move, even though you haven't necessarily spoken to them or gotten that verbal agreement. Maybe if they see the quality of your work and your expertise, they might be more willing to actually work with you. It could be a good door opener. It's not an approach that I typically use because I find that just cold pitching and having an online presence built around my freelance business gets clients to agree to that initial discovery call. But depending on your industry, you might want to draft a proposal and send it their way to push the sales process along and get your foot in the door. I would just say, as a rule of thumb, proposals work best when they come after you've captured their interest in some way. And now we're going to break down what to include in a proposal. We just got Gizmo 2-3 days ago. He just woke up from a nap, so he's a little delirious, but this is my child. This is why I do what I do. This is the financial liability that I'm hustling to support. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. So I'm going to outline general principles about what should be included in a proposal. However, this is going to become way more real and tangible when I show you the winning proposal that I actually sent to my client that won me the project. So you'll have both of those as a frame of reference. So number one is the intro section. You don't want to just jump right into the deliverables or the timeline. You want to have this brief introduction that just reiterates that you understand their business and their needs. For me personally, that little intro section is going to tap directly into the conversation I had with them on that discovery call. Project scope. Now, this is really important, and I go back and reference proposals every time I do work for the client so that I'm always clear on what we actually agreed to. It's really good to get the project scope written down and have it in as much detail as possible so that there's no confusion. There's no disappointments where the client might think, well, weren't you supposed to give me this? And I'm thinking, oh no, I actually don't even offer that service, right? You have to have someone else do that for you. So for example, let's say I agreed to do blog posts for a company and they just assumed I was going to load those blog posts into the back end of their blog when that's not typically something that I would do. By the way, it's totally fine if you do agree to do that. My clients in the B2B technology space typically don't ask for that. So it's just getting really clear on the agreed upon work. And if a problem ever arises, both of you can look at this scope of work and say, this is what we agreed to. Timeline. This is really important. Timeline is not only important so the client knows what to expect, it helps the client have peace of mind. It helps you to look professional because when you're providing a service, there is nothing worse than agreeing to work with somebody, but then you're not 100% sure when you can actually expect the deliverables. It's like they pay you a 50% deposit or whatever your upfront charge is, and then you kind of just disappear. I've had that when I've worked with other service providers that I have hired, and I can just say from experience, something that really helps put everybody at ease is a very clear, spelled out timeline. Here is when we will have the kickoff call. Here is when you can expect the first draft. 2 to 3 days is the turnaround time of when I expect revisions to come back from you. The timeline isn't just for you and the service you're providing, it's for the client so they know that they need to participate in the process as well. If they need to give revisions and feedback, that's not something you want to be waiting weeks for because then the project isn't clear in your mind, your money gets delayed. So timeline is just so important and you want to spell that out. Pricing, obviously, you're going to want to include that as well. This is not where I would include contract terms. I know when I say the word pricing, you might be thinking thinking, okay, and shouldn't my agreement be on there? But no, typically my legal contract is a separate document, and the legal contract is kind of a last step when both the client and I agreed we're going to move forward. Also, next steps, right? So explain to the client what is going to happen when they sign that proposal. Okay, now that you've signed this proposal, let's schedule a kickoff call, or hey, you need to get me that customer avatar document that explains your audience to me within 24 to 48 hours so I can begin the research process. Whatever type of freelance service you are offering, make sure that you have next steps. Again, it puts them at ease and gives you tasks that you have to complete. And also, don't forget to include proof of your work, meaning links to your portfolio pieces. I include results, marketing results that I got on newsletters, on, traffic numbers to my website, stuff that proves specifically to the client that I am a tried and true freelancer that has gotten results for other clients. I include testimonials. Don't forget, a proposal is another step in your marketing. So you want to continue to put the client at ease. You're basically continuing to sell them on you, because they're going to be sitting there once they're done speaking to you, and they're only going to have that document and whatever else you have online. And you want all of that to convey that trust and authority and continue the relationship and really close the deal, seal the deal. This is the proposal that landed me this client. It is in very boring PDF, but I'm just going to show you the content and what I said, and then I'm going to share with you how to use Gamma so that you can turn something boring like this into a really rich, branded, colorful, engaging proposal for your freelance clients, which will just impress them and knock their socks off. So this is the introduction I told you about earlier. So it's basically just reiterating what my experiences is. And this is all stuff that I spoke to him about on the call. So it's really just reiterating it and then allowing them to see my work for themselves. So I linked my about page of my website here. I showed my portfolio. I talk about what services I offer and what I have done. I also take a more nuanced view of my background when I talk to clients and tell them, hey, in addition to freelance copywriting for clients like you, I also do my own marketing for my own products business. I talk about the results I get in paidcopywriter.com because that's my opportunity to step into the role of a marketer and really empathize with the clients that I'm doing copywriting for. So I always talk about that I'm an online course creator. Because this was a proposal for ads, it was really important for me to show metrics and proof and conversion rates of things that I've actually done. So I talk about my lead magnet converting at 30%. Of course, this is performing well for what the benchmarks in my industry are, which is why I mention it. I talk about how I grew my email lists and what my click-through rate is. I talk about revenue milestones I've hit in my own business, just things that are going to help them understand that I'm experienced with growing an audience myself. So I'm definitely going to be able to do it for them. I talk about my YouTube followers, which, by the way, we are at 17K now. So thank you to anyone who is watching this and helping me grow the channel because it's amazing. So appreciate you. Then I transition into talking about their target personas. This is something clients really are interested in, is seeing that you understand their audience, because writing copy and content or providing marketing services for a client in any capacity will require you to have a deep understanding of their business and who they're trying to sell to. These are all things that we establish in the discovery call. The fact that I instruct freelancers to get on a discovery call first, this is wise because this proposal is not just a shot in the dark. It's actually based on what I know they want and need, and then I can position myself to be what they want and need, if that makes sense. So then I go into the goal of the campaign, right? It's like me understanding that I know you want to create display ads to generate traffic, right? You are more than welcome to pause the screen and use this language in your proposal. And then how do we go about sending the proposal? How do we get this proposal that we've been creating in the hands of the client? I suggest a PDF, unless the client specifically asked you for a different format. So in the body of the email, you're going to want to draft a very concise, brief message, just telling them, hey, please see the attached for the proposal, letting them know what they can find inside. Now, if you want to save a ton of time, I'm a big fan of using AI in my freelance business and my digital products business to get more work done faster. So if you want to create a proposal in literal minutes that looks super high quality and branded, you're going to want to use the free tool Gamma. Here we are starting with another Gamma. We're going to import a URL since this is in PDF form, upload a file. Okay, now it read the file. Let's try document for this one. We're going to keep preserve for this one.
We're going to keep it free form. 8 cards sounds about right, and continue. I'm going to choose something minimalist for this, and we hit generate. You can always upload your own color scheme and branding into this, but for the sake of this demo, let's just keep it simple. My dog is snoring so loud in the background. I'm just hoping the microphone is cutting it out. As you can see, it took my information. It even took my screenshots that I wanted to include. And from a client's perspective, this is much easier to read than a PDF. I can always add more images and make this more visual. But what I love about Gamma is that it takes the information that it's given, it makes it easier to read. And us as copywriters, we know how important readability is and how breaking large chunks of text up, how important that is. So even for this, where personally I believe that is a pretty big wall of text, I'll show you how to fix stuff like that. You literally just go to edit with AI and you could prompt it. So they have ideas if you want to make it more visual, add in images. So let's try make it more visual and see what it comes up with. Yeah, so as you can see, it breaks up the text. And if I wanted to make this stuff even shorter, I could. If we go here, go to the AI prompt, make it more engaging. How about visualize key points? There's so many different options. Condensed text could be a really good one for this. As you can see, it condensed the text down, and having AI do it will save you a ton of time.
If you're interested in starting your own freelance business, turning your side hustle into a full-time income so that you have the freedom and flexibility to live life on your own terms, but also get paid well doing something you love, you're definitely going to want to check out my next video, Freelance Business Strategy for Beginners. I lay out 4 different paths that I see freelancers traveling that will give you kind of that big picture. Don't miss that next video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.